Hello, I'm Michael, and this is Tarot by the Tree. We've been working our way through the cups, the minor arcana, and today we are doing the Seven of Cups. Take a moment to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Hi, Shane and Lindsay. We're in cups. This is looking at happiness and taking happiness for its own sake. We've mentioned before that happiness is not ecstasy or inebriation, which is a big problem for so many. We also want to note that for some, Christmas reminds them of past problems. For some people, this Christmas may be a difficult time. And we remember that not everybody is celebrating this day. In general, people seem to be a bit nicer to each other at Christmas, which brings about happiness in all of us. And with that, let's get right to the Seven of Cups. This is the card. And let's describe it. It is in the suit of cups, which refer to joy. I'll describe the card. A shadowed man gazes with temptation at seven chalices that appear out of the clouds in front of him. In one of the cups, there is a woman who places herself above and will abandon you. There is a savior coming out of one of the cups that turns out to be a false prophet. Two of the cups are contaminated, one by a serpent and one by a tiny dragon. The house is inaccessible. The jewels are counterfeit. The wreath of success conceals the death of the person who wears it. All of the cups contain only danger. We'll read what Waite has to say about this card. Strange chalices of vision, but the images are more especially those of the fantastic spirit, divinatory meanings, fairy favors, images of reflection, sentiment, imagination, things seen in the glass of contemplation. And I think that does describe this card. So we see a man in front of a whole bunch of offered treasures, each one containing a danger. Let's look at what place on the tree this card resides. It is the place of Netzach. Netzach has come out of Hod. He's strong. He's dealt with deprivation, and he has harnessed the two beasts, the two sphinx, together to be one entity. The two sphinx represent intellect and emotion. On the same Sephira, on the tree of knowledge, we see the chariot loses control, and the two sphinx revert to a primitive state, howling at the moon, their subconscious playing tricks on their imagination, and the feeling that hidden enemies reside. The place on the tree where this card lives is a tree of sanity and mental illness. It is a card about the need to keep your intellect informed by your imagination, but your imagination held in check by your intellect. And we'll see how this resolves. It's a strange card to have on Christmas Day, a card that suggests beware of gifts, but that's what we have. The meaning of the card is basically, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. But here's where joy and happiness can kind of fool us. Sometimes, well, all the time, our subconscious does backflips to convince our intellect that this is a rational decision, not just an emotional one. In this card, because of joy, your complete mind is being separated in a way. Joy can sometimes fool you at a very, very basic level. There's a saying that if you want to prove something true that you want to be true, you need twice the proof. The fact that you want something, you can be pretty sure that your mind may not present the obstacles to it that it normally would. Desire can sometimes rob us of some of our intellect. Your complete mind is being separated, your intellect is suspended, and your emotions take control. In that excited state, you miss the clues about risk and danger. The idea that because you feel extreme emotion, it must be a good idea is false. If you feel extreme emotion towards something, it requires double the study. In a reading, if this card comes up in a reading about a person, you would say something like this: when great things are given to you, if it causes excited joy, think twice. It may contain elements of mysticism, magic, and unexplained science that is not worth betting a lot on. So, on a little bit of a side note, we've mentioned before, these cards are not supposed to be fortune cookies that tell you how to live your life. These cards are archetypes that describe one facet of life. And this is the facet of making choices based on emotion and how those can not only be false, they can harm you. Don't let desire separate the intellect and emotional parts of your mind. And we talked about the Chariot. Having those two united, you're going to make good choices. There are two reasons that someone's going to give you a gift. And if you're not mentally excited and desirous, you can reflect on this a little bit calmly. One reason to give you a gift is to show appreciation. Another reason to give you a gift is to bait a trap. And there are many things like that. We have to be wary. And I know on Christmas Day to be wary of gifts. This is not a card that says always be wary of gifts. This is a card that says at times when your mind may not be properly connected, the things you think are gifts are actually not. This side can be a sign of debauchery, inebriation, and self-indulgence. At those times, people make choices that, upon reflection, don't seem too wise. Why don't we turn to some of the questions?
Well, I'll address Shane's question in the chat. He's asking, how do I distinguish good gifts from a gift that is really a Seven of Cups?
That's a great question. And normally you don't have to. Normally gifts are gifts and we can just take them as they are intended. This is a card that says sometimes in your excited mind, you may be a target for someone. And all they have to do is bait the trap with something you're interested in. This is done all the time at all different levels. It is not in general to be aware of gifts. It's to consider their source and to consider your mental state when you are about to receive a gift like this.
Do all gifts come with hidden dangers?
Absolutely not. Most gifts are wonderful things, signs of appreciation. And this card on Christmas Day is not slamming gifts. It is saying that do not lose your intellectual mind just because you've been given a gift. Consider it. And in 9 times out of 10, you can joyously accept it.
And the important part is on the part of the giver. Like, it's meant to, it's an expression of affection or of love.
Oh, that's what I think it is. It's a token of love and appreciation, affection. Yeah, and it should be received like that. That's what gifts are. But of course, we all know circumstances when people use gifts to manipulate other people. And I think this is a card saying, be aware of that.
And sometimes you receive a gift and you think, oh, you don't like this gift. And later on, you come to appreciate its value, its true value.
Yeah. And I know, but we keep it to ourselves because a gift is a gift. It's appreciation, and we take it for its intent, not its value.
What emotions are in this shadowed person in the card?
Um, he's excited. I was going to say shock and awe, but that puts too dangerous a perspective on it. He's delighted. He can't believe it. It's a jaw-dropping moment. In his clouded vision right now, he is overcome by emotion. And overcoming with emotion can seem like truth. In this emotional state, he feels an awareness and he sees a whole lot of things and he attributes to them more potential than they have. And you can imagine him running home and saying, oh, I've just bought this beautiful castle. It's huge. The view is great. And then discovering it's on that mountain top, that cliff face, and it's inaccessible. And every one of these cups, there's a sign. And we talked about them earlier, that there's something deceiving in them.
Why do all the cups materialize out of clouds?
The cups materials out of clouds to suggest that there's an imagination thing going on. We do see in the aces, the clouds represent a gift from God, but that's really the hand that's coming out of the cloud. The cloud is just what you would think. It's unsure, it's imaginative, and out of this gray cloud of something you can't be sure of, emerge these things that look like great and undeserved gifts. Some alarm bells should be going off in your head if this happens. And at the very least, you should be cautious and wary of what the expectations are for these gifts.
Why might this be a card of inebriation?
Well, we've talked about cups and happiness and celebration before, and that this cup could be a sign of debauchery when you're in that mood, of delight, and everything seems profound. Things that might have seemed ordinary before now seem to have great importance on your mind that seems suddenly opened. This is a card of poor decisions based on imaginary delights. And I think we all can see instances when somebody who is in a state of inebriation has fallen for one of these traps.
Would any of the 7 cups be a good choice for him?
None of them. None of them. He is in a state of mind where he thinks this joy is almost divinely inspired. He feels like a new spirit has entered his body, and that delight he interprets as truth. And we've always made a little bit of a caution that ecstasy is not truth. Ecstasy is a great amount of fun based on your imagination.
I think you've addressed this, but seeing that it's Christmas today, is this about getting a gift that you don't like?
No, and gifts are gifts, and everybody gets gifts that they already have or they don't like, and that shouldn't even be part of it. And you can make your own decisions about regifting or just using it anyway, or whatever you want. Take the gift for its intent. So many bad things or even neutral things can happen to us in our lives, but being given a gift is a good thing. We don't need to really work too hard to develop any bad feelings about that.
Is this card like W.W. Jacobs' story called The Monkey's Paw?
Yeah, very much. Now, it's a great story of a person who has 3 wishes, and they make these 3 wishes, and the wishes come true. but every wish comes with a hidden and
Cost.
unforeseen cost and dark side. It's a great story. And it's very much like the Seven of Cups, that what looks like a wish and a gift may turn out to be something that you didn't want.
Could you give an example of one of those that from that book or the movie? Because we saw the movie, Monkey's Paw. Give an
Oh yeah,
example.
when she wished to have her son, her son was killed in a factory accident, probably about the 1900s, and he died horribly mangled by a machine, and everybody's upset. And she gets these wishes, so she tries and she makes a wish. I wish my son was alive, and the other wishes had taken place, and they knew what terrible things. And there was a knock on the door, and they wouldn't let her open it because they knew that her son would be alive, but he would be in that mangled state, and it would just be a horror story.
What should be the man? What should the man in the cards represent to these offered gifts?
Can you just
What should be the man in the cards response? I'm sorry, to these offered gifts.
um what a sober and intelligent and compassionate mind would do? You would look at them with appreciation, and you would say no thank you, and you'd make up some reason. You have enough, you don't want to be in anybody's debt, you would say no.
Why is he being offered a fake gift?
That's the question. And we could say these are just a bit of tomfoolery going on. People are playing a trick on him, and it could be that. But the contents of the cups seem broader and more dangerous than just a bit of a joke. Um, give me that question one more time.
Why is he being offered a
Yeah,
fake
why is he being
gift?
offered? Generally, to be manipulated. It may be a shortcut to somebody's good graces when it may seem like too much trouble to get to know their interests, or it may be that you feel that this person is not going to take much interest in you. An offered gift can sometimes be a shortcut to their good graces.
The other thought occurs that when you're a child, you can't hold back you know
I
your
know,
disappointment.
I know.
But hopefully, as you get older,
Yeah, the whole gift thing is just filled with these little problems of the gift you gave cost more than the gift you received, and all these things. But we have to sort of rise above that. And yeah, there are a lot of problems with the whole idea of gift giving and the commercialism of it
final thoughts.
all. I mentioned before that the cards are not fortune cookies. This card is not a warning in general to reject the offers of gifts. This card, the Seven of Cups, is not a rule to live your life by. It's Christmas. If you get any gift, enjoy it and connect with the person that gave it. But there may be times when what seems to be a gift turns out to be something else. And this is rare. I hope you never encounter it. And I hope you have a great Christmas and all your gifts work out really well. Bye for now.
I was going to